because no matter who votes, if your vote is not counted, you're not going to win again.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that that doesn't happen again as it happened in 2010. So, at this point, we're just concentrating on the office instead of the individual.
Sure. Wally?
Well, I'm looking at every illegal vote that is counted takes it away from a person who legally voted. So the whole state hurts. So we got to get a split of people into the Congress, into the State House and all that. We can't have one party controlling everything. That's where corruption comes for.
Sure.
If you have one party ruling all the time, you're going to have corruption. And I think I see that in our state. I can say that.
Sure.
Because I'm not running for any offices, and then I don't have to worry about what I say.
Oh, right, Wally.
Yeah.
All the things you say on this show,
Yeah.
these people witnessed, you're done.
Well,
You're done.
But I always tell people, if you don't believe me, look it up
That's
yourself.
That's right.
Well, nowadays, if there's an allegation of voter fraud or voter irregularities, I mean, people don't have to take your word or my word or anybody else's word. There are so many independent sources verifying and proving exactly what you and I are saying and what other people are saying. And this thing, it just has to come to the point that we as voters, because when the last polling that they did on voter ID, I believe that regardless of the party affiliations, there were about 72 or 75% of people who agreed that we should have an ID, should produce an ID when we vote. And they were across the party lines, Democrats and independents and unaffiliated and Republicans, and it's just common sense. It is not a political, position. It is just a commonsensical thing to do. And I hope we're going to do that.
JB on 94.9, I was on the air with him earlier, and that's why I was running late, because I always call him on Mondays, but he wanted me to ask you that question about voter ID, and what's the difference when you have to, like you said, you have to have a picture ID for no matter
Almost
what you
everything,
do.
almost everything, yeah.
Everything.
Yes.
And, but you already answered that question, so I couldn't get to ask it for him. But on the record, I
would
did
support
mention
it, yes.
that
Thank you.
he wanted to know on that. Now I heard on one of the talk radio shows that, and I thought, it's a great idea would be to use the Social Security card that everyone has and put a photo on that. What would be the difference of that?
Look, it's if we really are serious about this, it is easy to establish someone's identity. If you look at a Social Security card, the first 3 digits of every Social Security card indicate the state where the Social Security number was issued from.
Sure.
Yeah, so we started that. But you have E-Verify nowadays. It takes you a matter of seconds to verify someone's status in our country. Now, when you have the criminal courts, they have the records of the ones who are not qualified voters. We can always collect that information. When you go to the jury duty, everyone who claimed that they are not United States citizens to get from a jury duty, because you have to be a U.S. citizen to serve in jury duty. If they said this year that they are not U.S. citizens, therefore they're not going to serve in jury duty, but they voted 2 years ago, there's a problem with that, because they themselves are claiming not to be. So if we look at all these, we have the information, we have the offices, all we have to do is just coordinate this properly to make sure that voter fraud is not committed. But behind voter fraud, you always have major organizations, because you were talking about Acorn before. Now it's coming back under a different name. You have the unions, you have the interest groups that they want to affect the outcome of these the election. So, but if we really want to root it out, there is a way of doing that, and I don't see any major problems for the Secretary of State to be able to do that.
Another thing that's affected me, every so many years, the Democrats, what they do, if they have the same day registration and voting, to me, that's terrible. Here you got people, you don't know who they are, and I've been at the polls where they're going to register and vote, and nobody's checking them. You know, they don't know that where they live. They don't know if they're those people.
Well, I've spoken to a number of registrars so far, and there is a complete lack of communication between the secretary, the office of the Secretary of State, and the towns, the registrars and the towns. And if we don't coordinate that properly to make sure that the list that we get and exchange with each other, it's all qualified voters and registered voters, it is. Unfortunately, I believe it's by design of the Secretary of the Office of the Secretary of the State that they don't want that communication with these offices. So, we have to have a better communication between the main office, if you will, which is the Secretary of the State and
Some
registrar.
people are let off of work to go vote.
Yes.
They get paid to go vote. Now, that's not right either. You know, and and I'm not knocking union as a whole.
No, absolutely
They're the
not.
ones that are doing
Absolutely
it.
not.
You know,
Absolutely not. Look, we have to encourage people to participate in our Republican form of government. We must do that, and we're trying to do that as Republicans, and Democrats, I believe, are trying to do the same thing. But what drives voter participation, it is not the difficulty of voting. It is what the candidate stands for. And if you don't stand for something, no one is going to get out and vote for the candidate. So what the Democrats are making the argument as if the Republicans are trying to make it harder for people to vote. Absolutely nonsense. And every time that they run out of ideas to make an argument, a substantial argument, they will accuse us of things that, we have allowed them for way too long to define us as whatever they are defining us, and we have to do a better job defending ourselves.
Yeah,
sure.
Because as Republicans, I think that the principles that we have, whether it's the limited government, constitutionalism, a firm belief that we are created equal, they apply to every American regardless of your race or gender, orientation, whatever it is. Every time that you hear a Democrat speak, somehow they use the words that they would divide us, and I hyphenate our names, and African American, and white American, and black American, and all these things that we as Republicans are trying and are not using those terms. We're referring to each and every one of us as Americans, and our principles, Republican principles, apply equally to each and every one of us, and that's where the Republicans are going to have to get some backbone and really fight, for those principles.
I agree.
I try to bring things up about the Democrats. They're defining who Republicans are. They're telling the press what we think and what we feel. And that's got to stop too. And, it's hard for us to get our word into the press and have them repeat what we say. They go by what the Democrats say. And that's been going on for years now. And that's been hurt like the Tea Party. They're destroying or hurting the Tea Party big time because they're saying they're bigots and they're racist. Now, that's not true. I've been a Tea Party member for a long time now. Some of those people are the nicest people in the world,
Look, when you run out of ideas, you use terms that are accusatory. You accuse people of things that they are not of. But that's when you run out of ideas. And the Republican Party, the Republican Party right now has the ideas that would serve us well. The Democrats, they don't have anything to run on right now besides accusing us of things that we don't do or we don't stand for.
Yeah.
What other issue is involved with the Secretary of State? Because there has to be other issues.
Business. All the businesses, the registration of the businesses goes through the Secretary of the State. And what we're planning to do if we win is that we're going to make it easy for anyone to establish a business in our state. We're going to try to do it with the fees, because when you start a business in our state, a couple of $100 is a lot of money for someone. We're trying to encourage to try to turn the state from an anti-business state that we have become to a business-friendly state, and that's another part of the Secretary of State that the second part of the office that deals with.
But another mistake that our governor has done to create new jobs. He goes to the state, outside the state, and brings those companies in here. Let's help the Connecticut residents instead of going, and I'm just using New York as an example, hiring a company over there and bringing them over here.
Look, the Republicans are going to have a team, hopefully, by the time of the convention or after the convention, where we're going to be able to work together and sit down, and whether it's the governor, the lieutenant governor, or the secretary of the state, we have to sit down and talk to each other and make sure that we come up with solutions. People are looking for solutions. Now, if I were to sit over here or stand over here and tell you that people should vote for me because I'm a Republican and I'm not a Democrat, that wouldn't make any sense. You have to stand for something. And Republicans right now are standing exactly for what the Republican Party stands for. We're talking about job creation. We're talking about lowering taxes, creating the business environment, fighting corruption, fighting fraud. I mean, we're talking about real things. And I think that both Democrats, some Democrats, and the Republicans are excited that we're putting such a good team together for the convention. And I think we're going to do great unless we divide after the convention, but hopefully we're going to be able to unite after the convention and make sure that whoever gets the nomination for the governor is supported by others, the other candidates, and get this team up and running and send a clear message to Hartford that Republicans are united. They are united behind the principles which are Republican principles, and that every citizen of our state will benefit from this team. And I think we're doing a pretty good job trying to putting that team together.
Now, the convention is in this end of the world.
Yes.
Over at the Mohegan
Yes,
Sun.
Mohegan
So
Sun.
you'll be, chances are, what, you're Saturday at the
I
convention?
think we're going to go on Friday night, if I'm
Oh,
not mistaken.
Friday night,
Friday night.
really? All
I
right,
think we're on
because-
Friday night.
Because I know they're starting
Yeah.
with the congressional races.
They're going to start with the congressional races. I think the Secretary of the State's office is going to be voted on that night, on Friday.
good.
And it's possible that some other statewide office, but I don't have the specifics. But my office most likely is going to be voted on Friday.
Awesome. And for the viewers, I was told that the Connecticut cable network, CTN or whatever it's called, that they're going to have it live, have the convention live on. I think on this Metrocast, I think it might be channel 23 and or 22, 23, 22. But so for you viewers, Friday afternoon starting at 3. Right up through, I don't know what time, Friday night, and then Saturday, you can watch all this live on Unfold, and you can watch Lori Hopkins Kavanaugh get the nod and be the candidate, and watch Peter Lumaj also become the official candidate. And that's how things are going to work around here.
It looks good. I mean, I have my campaign manager. He's in contact with the state party. The state party is doing a phenomenal job putting this convention together. My campaign manager speaks very highly of the way they are organizing the convention itself. We're excited. We're prepared to really get out there and get ready for the general election.
Yeah, and by the way, your campaign manager is a good guy.
He's a good guy.
He hooked me up with you, right?
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's a very good guy.
He's here watching everything we do, so I have to behave. Otherwise, we won't have Peter back in here.
No,
So,
anytime. Absolutely anytime.
hey, Reg, camera 3. Hey, what you're looking at here is this is Peter's website, and it's Peter Lumaj. Actually, if I slide this, I might have moved this crazy thing. But it's peterlumaj.com, and if you look at it, you can see the different parts of it. Meet Peter, Peter's plan, his endorsements, news, multimedia, get involved, and donate. So probably these last two things are the most important.
Get involved and donate.
Get involved and donate, but you can read also about Peter. It's a great website. And I think we even have a link on our website. Thanks, Reg.
You know, money is very important for candidates.
Yeah.
And some people think $20 is too little to give. You got $20, you want to help a
It all
candidate.
adds up.
Throw it in, $10.
We have gotten donations from people from $5, $10, up to $100. Actually, we have a large number of donors all over the state. But the hardest thing for a candidate to do is to ask for money.
Yes, it is.
Because people are going through difficult times. I mean,
Right.
there are a number of people, way too many people, who are either unemployed or underemployed in our state. Businesses are suffering, so it's the hardest thing to do. But we have done exceptionally well. We've been blessed so far. As I said, we are over 65,000 qualifying funds so far, so we're in